Good evening, brothers and sisters. This is Brother Steve coming back with another video. Good evening to all of you out there. All glory and praise to the Most High, Ahaya Bashin Shaibo Wakadesh, for this opportunity. I want to thank you all for supporting this channel, for all my new subscribers, my new brothers and sisters that's in this truth, that's learning. I appreciate you, and let's learn together, okay? Also, too, brothers and sisters, if possible, once again, please hit the like button if you can. It moves the algorithm to get these videos out to as many people as possible, okay? Now, brothers and sisters, today, I'd like to talk to y'all about the prophetic times that they're in, okay? Prophecy concerning Matthew 24. I think in one of my videos I might have touched upon prophecy. I really didn't go in depth. Prophecy in itself is something that when you're teaching prophecy, you want to make sure that you're delivering the information and knowledge accurately. And sometimes when you're teaching this, you have to make sure that, one, you're giving context. You're relating ancient biblical times to current day times, okay? There are those out there who understand this. There are those out there who don't. Well, that's why I come in as a teacher, to perhaps bring some level of understanding and insight. In Matthew 24, it's a very, very, very popular chapter prophetically in the King James Version Bible. Okay. Oh, once again, I'm sorry. For my new subscribers, let me just show you guys. I utilize and teach from the King James Version Bible, okay? This is the book that I use. The King James Version Bible, KJV. Okay? Time to time also, brothers and sisters, I also like to teach from the Apocrypha. Okay? This is the King James Version Apocrypha. Okay? Now, for those who may not know, this is part of the original King James Version Bible. Okay? I also have here, for those who are new, some of you have already seen this here. Excuse me. I also have, once again, the New Oxford Annotated Bible with the Apocrypha. Okay? This here is a record that Oxford University always had. So I do have a 1611 original King James. I was just actually reading it yesterday, as a matter of fact, looking up a few verses, and I tell you, it's a very, very interesting book, if you will. Quaker English. The more you read it, the better understanding you have of it. Now, like when I first got my hands on the 1611, I didn't really have that. I didn't have a difficult problem really deciphering old Quaker English. I mean, obviously, if you're reading out of a King James Version Bible, for the most part, you'll encounter old school Quaker English, okay? Now, some King James Version Bibles do have an amplified section for those that struggle with Quaker English phonetics, okay, or pronunciations. So those of you who have a difficulty in understanding Quaker English, find you a King James Version Bible with amplified in there. It'll still have the Quaker English with the amplified, okay? It will help you give understanding, okay? Now, brothers and sisters, once again, I'd like to go into Matthew 24. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to provide certain feedback and understanding as I go along. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Bear with me here. Gotta just turn this off real fast. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. All right. So, brothers and sisters, once again, if you have your Bibles, please open them up to King James chapter 24. We're going to start at verse 4. Okay. Okay. And it starts off and it states here at verse 4. And Yeshua Christ Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. Brothers and sisters, that's pivotal right there. For we're living in a time where you have a lot of false prophets. You have a lot of brethren and sisterin being deceived right now currently through doctrines of devils, lies. There are those who have knowledge of occult practices, New Age magic, witchcraft. They've integrated it inside to the church, Christian church. Now, obviously, the form of Christianity in the earth today is pagan. We know this already. Brothers and sisters, I will do a separate lesson on the origin of pagan Christianity, okay? Because a lot of Christians don't quite understand the inception or the initiation or the origin of pagan Christianity, of when it was inserted to the Hebrew Israelites. The original church when Christ walked this earth was called the Way. Okay? It was called the Way. And some of y'all have to understand that in the time of Christ, the biblical Hebrew Israelite Christ, he lived under Roman rule, which means Roman rule was essentially the Roman Empire. Okay, it's really that simple. Now, the Romans, they were polytheistic. They worshipped many gods. I believe 300 or 400 gods, perhaps. They had a god for each thing. The Roman life, whether it came from fertility, sports, medicine, academia, planting, cooking, they had a god for each specific thing pertaining to the Roman way, the Roman life. So, Christ lived in that time under the Roman influence. Okay? So I just kind of a side note so that you understand what I'm speaking about here, okay? So, getting back to the verse. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. So you do have those who have, once again, access to witchcraft and occult magic practices. And if you're not well rooted in the knowledge of the Most High through this Bible, you would think that a deceiver or someone that's coming in the name of Christ would essentially be anointed. You have to have discernment and understanding to recognize those type of things. Many are being deceived by signs and wonders. Okay? Let's proceed. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Brothers and sisters, we're living in times where there are wars, rumors of wars. Currently, all throughout the earth right now, especially in the Middle East, the Pacific Oceans, Asian area, India, Pakistan. These countries, every day you cut on the news, you go to outside media outlets, there are reports of countries engaging very, very intense conflict, and turmoil. Wars, rumors of wars. So we are living in a time where we are saturated with rumors of wars. That's one of the prophetic. That's one of the prophetic signs that we have to look for in this specific time. Okay, Christ is stating that. Let's proceed. For nation shall rise against nation. Now, brothers and sisters, nation shall rise against nation. When you think of nation, you have to think of race. Black versus white. White versus black. Asian versus white. Black versus Asian. Nations means race. Just like Rebecca, she had two nations, right? Jacob or Yakub or Yaakov and Esau, two nations. Jacob was Israel. Esau was the progenitor of the Idumeans or Edomites. That's whom we would deem what they call white men, but they're not really white. This is white. White men are not this color. They're red. They have a reddish tint. Okay? Jacob or the Israelites look like me. Okay? They're brown skinned. Some are darker. Some are lighter. Okay? The nation of Israel, there's many different hues of colors. Just like when you look at our brothers who are what? Edomites or Europeans, Caucasians, they also have different shades of what you call white. Not all Europeans look the same. Look at the Portuguese. Look at the Italians. Look at the French. Look at the British. They all look different, and they have different hues. See? I wanted to make that difference. So, nation versus nation, you can look at it contextually one way. But according to the Bible, biblically, two nations was in our mother. Black and white. Jacob and Esau. You understand? Two nations fighting. Two nations fighting. That's what this is about, guys, at the end of this. And that's why I want to emphasize to every Israelite, Hebrew, and Gentile brother. If you are operating in hatred towards your brothers, you are in danger of the sword. See, right now, the Idumeans or Edomites are in power. Jacob is not. Jacob is undergoing what? Jacob's trouble, at least the start of it. This has been the constant battle since the inception of the brothers being born into the earth. Two nations fighting against one another. Okay? I just wanted to bring that out there. So if you white and you hate your brother who is black, you're in danger of hell. If you're an Israelite, Hebrew, and you hating your brother, Esau, you in danger of going to hell too. Christ is the way. Christ was a Hebrew Israelite. Yes, Christ came for the lost sheep of Israel, whom the promise was for what? Jacob. Isaac gave the blessing to Jacob. Esau got the what? Sword, a cunning hunter. So, each brother had their own what? Characteristics of ruling. Jacob spiritually, Esau through weaponry. Excellent hunter. Okay? Salvation is for all men. But Christ came into this physical earth to gather, save, preach to the what? Lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's the truth. And also to instruct the disciples to carry the gospel of the Most High throughout the Gentile nations. That's the truth. Let's proceed. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrow. And what do you have in the earth today, brothers and sisters? Sorrow, pain, contention, confusion. You have in the earth what we call biblically a stupor. A stupor. Now, some of y'all have heard that before. Some of y'all haven't. A stupor is what? It's confusion, right? People not being able to discern what's going on from day to day. Those who are not rooted in this Bible. Those that are being tossed from different winds of doctrine, different teaching. See? Those who are not putting in the time or investing. Those are under what? A stupor. Confusion. See? That's what's going on with a lot of people. Israelites, Gentiles, the nations. People are under a strong delusion. They're doing everything can to hold on to what? Normalcy. Everybody's trying to go back. Listen, everything's done changed. You understand? That's just what it is, brothers and sisters. See? And we need this word to stay rooted, focused, watchful. You understand? Okay? Let's proceed. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. So, brothers and sisters, in these particular times as we progress through the escalation of sorrows, some of you are seeing on the media, there are certain sites where you can basically or anonymously report people who are going against the grain. Family, friends, acquaintances, husbands, wives, children versus parents, parents versus children. There's a website now. You understand? Very dangerous times we're living in right now, y'all. See? Let's go. And then, and verse 10, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. It's a lot of offense right now. There are so many people offended. You know, every time you cut on the news, car accidents, somebody road rage. See? Somebody cut you out of lane. Guess what? Somebody pulling out their gun and they blasting. See? People getting blasted on the interstates and freeways. I know here in Detroit, it's popping off on these interstates. People getting accidents, and now somebody will take their gun and start blasting on them. Y'all just seen maybe a month and a half ago where in Chicago it was two Latino. It was a Latino couple, Mexican couple. Forgive me, not Mexican or Latino. They were, forgive me, brothers and sisters. They were, I believe they were Cuban. Well, anyway, they were at some sort of festival celebrating their culture. And I believe it was some sort of accident or something of that nature. And guess what? Somebody ran up on them and shot them. Shot the husband, shot the wife. All because of offense, pride, offense, a lack of love. See? Many shall be offended and shall betray one another. Betraying one another means what? Lack of loyalty. See? You understand? Adultery, spiritual, physical fornication, hypergamy. And if y'all don't know what hypergamy is what? A girlfriend having what? 4 or 5 boyfriends. A guy having what? 5 or 6 girlfriends. Hypergamy. Betraying one another. And also hate one another. There's a level of hate. Hatred from what? The root of hatred comes from what? Jealousy, envy, bitterness. See, that spirit of hatred is serious. Hatred leads to what? Murder. Murder. Slandering your brother and sister based upon what? Potential gain, validation, murder. See? It's a lot of that popping off, right? See? And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Perpetual sin. If you are operating in a perpetual state of sin, you're operating in individuality. And if you are worshiping individuality and self-loathing, the love that you would have for your fellow brother and sister would lack, decrease. You see? Because why? You're about what? Selfishness. See? Self-worship. Vain glory. Vain looks. Your beauty. You being handsome. You becoming what? An idol unto thyself. Idolatry. Persistent sin will always lead to a lack of love against your brother and sister. You understand? That's what the world is predicated on right now. Individuality. The love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And the gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And then shall the end come. So this gospel will go forth. And that's why we who are called to this work must continue to do the work. You understand? See, there's a fervent and zealous spirit to reach people with this gospel and truth. The harvest, what? Is plenteous or plenty, and the laborers are few, right? That's why we're doing what we're doing out here, brothers and sisters. Flat out. Guess what? It is what it is. Right? When ye, verse 15, when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains, go west. Now, let's stop. Brothers and sisters, this was the prophecy of the Negro Hebrew Israelites fleeing Roman persecution. 70 AD, the battle, the last stand of the Battle of Masada. We were fleeing Roman persecution. 2 to 3 million Negro Hebrew Israelites went into Africa. Okay? You understand? Fleeing swords. Fleeing Vespasian and his son Titus. Okay? That's what happened, brothers and sisters. So those of you who don't believe that, guess what? It's in the records. Guess what? I'll tell you what, brothers and sisters. It's right here in the book of Josephus. Right here. See? The wars of the Jews. Right here. For those that don't believe. Okay? All right, let's go, brothers and sisters. Got to study to show thyself approved. Be not deceived. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child. You understand? And to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. No, nor shall there ever be. So, brothers and sisters, this is very, very serious. What's about to come upon this earth, in this world? It'll be like something we've never experienced. Worse than the days of Noah. Worse. That's why this period of time prophetically is what we call, or the Bible calls, the beginning of sorrows, pain, the increased escalation, distrust, division. See, brothers and sisters, is that not what we see out here? Hatred, variances. Huh? Huh? Y'all seen it every day. And tell me this Bible ain't real. Man, let's go. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So, brothers and sisters, what's about to come on this earth? Prophetically, the days will be shortened for the elect's sake. Those that survive this. Those that have survived this. And that's really, really, for some, mentally, that's hard to process. Because once again, everything seems normal to some. It seems normal. Because they're invested in society. They're invested in the world. Remember what Christ said, those that love the world, love its own. And because I've separated you from the world hates you. They hated me first. They'll hate you also. You will be hated for Christ's name's sake. Right? Man. Let's go, brothers and sisters. Verse 23. Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. You better not be following no damn Jim Jones. There's a whole lot of false prophets out here. They're all over the place. Wicked as a day's old. Liars, deceivers. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold,